What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, I hope I pronounced this right, making their debut on the channel tonight, we have Phinehas. Yes, indeed, how about that? Phinehas making their debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbidi bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Brian Savino, and this is actually Brian's prioritized request for the month of March for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So here you go, Brian. Hope you enjoy the show, man. Brian wanted to see me react to this song by Phinehas called Eternally Apart.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Now, have I heard the song before? No, I have not. To the best of my knowledge, this does not resonate with me in any way, shape, or form. However, there's always a possibility I may have heard the song in passing and I just don't realize it. So as always, if I start listening to the song and I suddenly go, wait a second, I recognize this song, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. This was posted by Solid State Records, okay? And the video has 279,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Phinehas, Eternally Apart. There it is. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
I like what's happening. Playing around with feel already, which I dig. From the straight time to the halftime, really nice. That intro, it sounded good. Like what was happening with the guitar sounded really nice, but I couldn't help but notice there was this like ambient soundtrack that sounded like, oddly enough, it sounded like wood burning. It sounded like you heard that burning wood crackle, right? Now, I couldn't help notice this video with all the burning trees and stuff. Now, here's my question. Was that ambient sound added on for the sake of this video? Or is that ambient sound a part of the actual track? If it's part of the actual track, it's fine. You know, maybe they created this video for the sake of, and they added that effect in the video that make the, you know, trees look like they're really burning. And they added that in for the video for the sake of the audio track already being there. If that's the case, I'm fine with it. Got no problem with it. On the flip side, if somebody took their audio track and they added that burning wood ambient sound to the audio track, layered onto it for the sake of this video, then I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be really upset because that's not cool, man. That is absolutely not cool. Taking an audio track and distorting it just for the sake of, you know, your vision. No, that ain't right. That ain't cool. So I'm hoping I'm wrong about that. And I'm hoping that burning wood sound, I'm really hoping that's part of the actual studio recording. So anyway, haven't heard any vocals yet. Is this an instrumental band? Is this an instrumental, or is this just an instrumental song? Or we just have a long intro before we're getting to the vocals? I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's find out here. Let's get back into this. Okay. Double time. All right. Good. Melodic singing good.
Only truly seen from afar.
Little muddy there. That's just a tone. That's just a tonation problem. Yeah. I mean, the playing was, I could tell the playing was accurate. I could tell everybody was playing syncopatedly, but the guitar tone was just a little too thick, and as a result, it got a little muddy there. It's part of the recording, so. All right. I need to get my thoughts together on this. I need to give it some thought. So let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Phinehas, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, with a song called Eternally Apart. This was a request from Brian Savino, and this was actually Brian's prioritized request for the month of March for being a silver tier member on the Patreon page. So there you go, Brian. I hope you enjoyed the show, man. Okay, before I give my score, I just gotta make a couple of announcements. I'm doing these announcements in every single video for the month of March, so hopefully as many people as possible will see the announcements, and I won't have to keep doing it over and over and over again. I won't have to keep explaining it over and over and over again. I can just do it for this 1 month, and we'll be done. Now, if you've already watched one of the videos for the month of March, they're gonna be the same, so no reason to watch them again. Skip forward about 5 minutes, and you're gonna be in just about the right place.
Here we go again.
Announcement number 1, we are going back to the old scoring system, okay? We had the vote, you guys voted, about 2/3 of the votes said go back to the old scoring system, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. I have absolutely no problem doing it. I'm totally fine with it. Here's the thing though, during the live stream that I did where we were discussing the scoring system and what we were gonna do, I did say that if we do go back to the old scoring system, we're gonna have to make some changes. The whole reason that I went to a 5-star system was to try to make things a little easier and a little simpler for people to understand when it came to giving my scores, not so complicated. You guys voiced your concerns though, and the concern, it wasn't like there was multiple concerns, there was just really one concern. The concern was there were going to be way too many 4s given out, way too many 4-star ratings, and for too many songs, too many bands, all getting the exact same score. Guys, believe me when I say this, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I see that problem as well, and I am not disagreeing with you in any way, shape, or form. But here's the thing though, that problem already exists in the old scoring system, believe it or not. If you take a look at the old scoring system, take a look at all the scores I've given over the past, 3 or 4 years, over 2,000 videos out there, guys, about 2/3 of the scores fall between the range of 7.4 to 8.6. Now, I know people in their heads right now are doing the math and they're going, well, that's 13 different scores. That's a lot of variety. You're right, sort of. It is 13 different scores out of a possible 100. That means it is a 13% margin. It is a very narrow margin that 2/3 of the scores are fitting into right now. That's smaller than the 20% margin we would have had with a 4-star rating. So that problem already exists, and I did say if we go back to the scoring system, there's going to have to be some changes. Here are the changes. Number 1, most importantly, I'm going to have to get tougher. I'm going to have to get harder. I'm going to have to make it a lot more difficult to earn those higher ratings. So getting a 7 now, it's going to be really tough. It's not going to be easy, guys. Getting an 8 is going to be even harder. It's going to be extremely difficult to get an 8 now. And getting a 9, it's going to be pretty much impossible. If you get a 9 now, oh, boy, did you ever earn it. That's just reality, folks. We need to utilize more of the numeric scale and not hover around the 7s, the mid to high 7s to the low 8s as much as we have been. Now, in order to help facilitate that, I'm going to really reinforce this. Now, this is what it should have been all along. It was my goal, but somehow it got skewed. We're going to have to really refocus on making 5s the middle ground. For some reason, I don't even know how it happened, 7 ended up kind of becoming the middle ground interpretationally. And guys, that was never the intent. 5 should have always been the middle ground. That was my intent from day one. So I'm gonna have to really hammer that home. 5 is the middle ground. Everybody from here on out, I don't care who the band is, I don't care who the artist is, I don't care how popular they are or unpopular they are. It makes no difference to me. Everybody, and I mean everybody, starts at a 5, okay? I don't care if you're Baby Metal, I don't care if you're Nightwish, I don't care if you're Love Bites, I don't care if you're Nirvana, I don't care if you're Bandmate, I don't care if you're Pearl Jam, it makes no difference to me. Everybody starts at 5, and then we can move up or we can move down, but we start at 5, okay? We're gonna hammer this home. And it's really gonna help spread out the scoring a lot more than it was before. Now, that's announcement number 1. Announcement number 2. While we were doing the live stream, I had a number of people make the suggestion, because the whole reason I switched to a 5-star rating was to make it easier to understand for more people to comprehend. A number of people were saying, well, we do the numeric score, but if you want to make it easier for people to understand, why don't you do additional types of scoring to correlate with that numeric score? Why didn't I think of that? Why, seriously, why didn't I think of that? Guys, I am not omnipotent. I am not all-seeing and all-knowing. I'm not. As much as I try to pretend to be sometimes, I'm not, guys. I'm human. And sometimes I need help seeing the bigger picture. So for everybody that was at the live stream that made that suggestion, thank you. You really helped open my eyes and see that there's more than one way to do this. So we are going to give 4 different ratings from now on, 4 different scores for the exact same score. So 4 different types of scoring. We're going to do the old school numeric score, like we've always done. We're going to do a scale rating. So you got your greats, your really goods, your okays, your pretty good. We're going to have that scale rating. We're also going to have a star rating. We're going to keep the 5-star rating, keep it simple, not overly complicated. And then we're also going to have a letter grade for those people who just cannot seem to get their mindset out of elementary school. So, numeric score, scale rating, star rating, and letter grade. Now, and they all mean the same thing. Now, if you cannot take one of those 4 and internalize it and understand it and interpret it, then guys, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. You are beyond my help. I'm sorry. There's just nothing I can do at that point. My suggestion, in all honesty, you might want to think about finding another channel, because this is not going to be the channel for you probably. All right. So having said all of that, let's get to the score now, shall we?
Yes, please.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I am going to give that a 6.4. Yep. 6.4. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
It's a pretty good song. It is. I had really no complaints about it. Let's start off with, okay, let's start off here. What does that 6.4 mean? Well, a 6.4 means it's a pretty good song. It is. It absolutely is a pretty good song. It would also equate out to a 3 out of 5 stars. No problem there. And it would also equate out to a B-. A very high B-. It's up there, but a B- nonetheless. So you have a 6.4, pretty good score, 3 out of 5 stars, and a B-. Take whichever one you want, whichever one works for you. Now, how did we get to that score? So glad you asked. It is a really good song. It is. I like the direction it's going. I like the energy it had. And most importantly, I like the play on feel that we had throughout the entire song. We had straight time. We had half time. We went up to double time, went back to straight time, went back down to half time again before we went back up to straight time again. We moved around quite a bit within a 5-minute song. I have no problem with that. When we would switch up feel, we would stay there long enough to get into it, long enough to get into the feel, internalize it, and make it work for us. And I was all in favor of that. And then we would switch gears. That's perfectly fine. I got no problem with that whatsoever. The vocals. Okay. I liked them. I did like them. I am really glad to see that we had the clean vocals in there. And the distribution of clean vocal versus grit and growl vocal, I felt was very appropriate. It was definitely more leaning towards the clean vocal. I would say about 70% to 30%. I was really happy with that. Very happy with that. The clean vocal sounded really nice. I had no issue with the clean vocal whatsoever. The grit and growl vocal, it was grit and growl without question, and I was okay with it, but it was pure grit and growl. There was no melodics in there whatsoever. There was no subharmonics, no melodic undertones, nothing. It was pure grit and growl. That's fine. I know there are people who like that. I'm not necessarily one of those people, but it definitely worked. It got the job done, so there's that. Musicianship. This is where I think probably the strongest part of the song was. The musicianship from everybody involved, guitar, bass, and drums. It was really nice. It was really nice. It was really good. I did have an issue with it though. The playing sounded clean. The drumming and the bass playing especially were tight. The guitar playing was tight. When everybody would play in okay, well, we'll get to that in a second. When the guitar player was playing on his own, he was doing his own thing, it sounded fine. I had no problem with the tone. I had no problem with the sound. Everything sounded really fine. For some reason, I don't know why, it's possible he switched tone banks. He may have, switched to a different effect or a different voicing. When we went into the syncopated parts where everybody was playing in unison, everybody was playing together, it got really dirty sounding. Now, it's not because of sloppy playing. I could hear the attacks. I had to really search to hear that guitar attack, but I found it, and it was right with the drums and the bass. But the tone, the guitar tone, I love thick and crunchy guitars, guys, I do. But when you're playing syncopatedly and you're having other instruments play with you, and you're playing all together in unison, you gotta watch the thickness of your distortion patch. You have to, because guys, it got muddy. It got really muddy. And it's not because the playing was sloppy, it's because the tone was just too crunchy and too thick. And as a result, it ended up turning into a bit of a muddy mess. Did that affect the score? Yes. Yes, it did, unfortunately. I really wish we didn't have that happen, boy, because I'm going to be honest with you, if we didn't have that happen, I feel very confident saying we might have been up into the sevens. It's quite possible. But unfortunately, that's a bit of an issue. It's actually a pretty glaring issue. Like I said, though, when the guitar player was playing by himself, it sounded good. So I wonder if just when he went into that syncopated session, maybe he just kicked in a little extra distortion for some reason. Why? That's beyond my understanding. I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna play in unison, if anything, you should cut back on the distortion because you're gonna get a low frequency from the bass and from the double kick. So why extra distortion for when you're gonna kick in and play in unison? That makes no sense to me at all. So the grit and growl vocal, wasn't the biggest fan of it because it was just pure grit and growl. And then, like I said, the overuse of distortion on the unison lines, that did affect the score. And if those two things, had been, evened up a bit, I very strongly believe this would have been up in the sevens. I really do. I still enjoyed listening to this. I want to be very clear about that. I didn't hate the song. As a matter of fact, I enjoyed listening to this. This was a fun listen. My first time with Phinehas, I don't know what else they have. What else do they have? I don't know if there's any other Phinehas requests in the queue. I'm not sure if there are or not. Brian, if you want to request more of these guys, I certainly would not mind checking out more. So bring it on. But yeah, overall, I still think it's a pretty good song. I do. I mean, like I said, I have a couple complaints. That's a couple things I would change personally, but yeah, in my opinion, pretty good song. No issue with it other than that, other than those two things. So let's wrap things up here in a nice, pretty bow. What do you say? 6.4, pretty good song. 3 out of 5 stars and a B- letter grade. Take your pick. I don't care. Whichever one of those works for you and floats your boat. Final word, final score. I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.